What up? Happy Wednesday, actors. I hope you're having a great day. Today I'm coming to you with an answer to a question for the video I posted yesterday. Micah Taylor posted in the comments. I was going to type the answer, and then I was like, this is worth a video. So Micah, this one's for you. And by the way, if you guys have questions, I do read the comments. Sometimes I get busy. Sometimes it takes me a while. But ask me stuff. You know what? I got to come up with things to help you guys learn anyways. So if you have acting related questions, business related questions, and not just acting business questions, like I do business too, just regular business. I teach people how to do that as well. I consult a lot for companies, production companies, marketing. If you have production based questions, filmmaking questions, ask me. I am an open book, and I am starving to give answers. Can you say that? I don't know. All right, let's dig into it. The question Micah asked was, hey, Mr. Brea, I was just wondering what you would say to a regular 10th grade high schooler with no acting experience or has not even been in a play or a theater class and someone who has no personality and he wants to become an actor. Where would he even start? And that's a great question. Let me just adjust this little thing. This is a loaded question, Micah. And first and foremost, I want to start by just giving you some broad strokes. And this is also going to be for adult actors and maybe people who have a little bit of experience. But let's talk about starting out a little bit. So we'll start out with some theory in this video. And then at the end, I'm going to give you some practical, actual like tips on like, here's what to do right now. But let's start with the fact that understand that acting or any career in this industry is a long-term game. So I'm going to do some little writing here. So this is a long-term game. What do I mean by that? You know, the average acting career can take between 3 and 15 years to really start gaining traction. And it's the same for filmmaking. So patience, perseverance, persistence, and continued belief in oneself is actually a bigger contributor to success than probably anything else. Because if you quit right before you're about to get that break, well, then you'll never experience it to begin with. So it has to be a lifestyle and a thing that you fully commit yourself to. You're not going to get very far by haphazarding a career in this industry. Period. Let that be known to anyone who's watching. Do not think that you're going to break into this game with the occasional submission here or there. Oh, I'll send my headshot in for this one thing. Has it ever happened before? Have people been plucked out of doctors' offices by big producers because they thought you would be great in my movie? Sure, it's happened. Don't count on that. That is a lottery win. Period. Your odds are lottery win odds if you take that approach. Second, it is a non-linear career, okay, which plays into the long-term game. It is non-linear, which means, unlike a medical profession where you go to this kind of school, then that kind of school, then a residency, then a this and a that, and you sort of progress and you build on your career, or like most corporate careers, it's a gradual sort of stepping up the ladder. There are ways and strategies that you should develop for yourself over time, but it is not something that you can kind of just lay out your plan and then just follow that to the T and you'll get there by that date, and that's just kind of how it works. The way things work in the entertainment industry is bizarre. It's you'll do a little short film for no money, and then you'll not hear from those people, and that film will never even get released. And then the cinematographer from that short film will 2 years later be working on a pilot episode for a TV show that some buddy of his is pitching, or hers. And they'll say, man, I really need, some kid, a young college student kid, right? Talking about, like, let's say if that was you, Micah. And then that guy will be like, whoa, this was forever ago, but I worked with this really cool dude, Micah, 3 years ago on this little thing that never went anywhere. But he was actually a rock star. He was cool. I wonder if I could call the producer and see if I can get that guy's number. Yeah, sure, call him in. You know what? We'll give him a shot. All right, then you go in, you meet them. Say you don't book that part. Had a good meeting, auditioned for it. Didn't pan out. They picked somebody else. But now you're on that producer's radar, right? That show doesn't make it. But 3 shows later, they pitch something that does, and it gets picked up by a network. So now it's 7, 8 years down the line. That producer is now in season 2 of their new show on whatever, Netflix. And because you had a great conversation with that producer in the casting room, or casting director, or whoever, then they'll remember something you said, and they'll need a character that's, relevant. And they'll say, you know what, that guy's probably about 25 years old now. That'd be perfect. And, he's kind of got that vibe about him. Let me see what he's up to. And then they'll bring you in, and you'll go right onto a TV show. Now, this is a completely fabricated scenario, but this is what happens. That's what I mean by nonlinear. I've gotten more work and more clients and more projects off the ground through these backhanded kind of long-term plays. And the more you expose yourself and the more you do, in addition to having a brand, having a strategy and all that stuff that I talk about on this channel, that complements everything. So you have to, again, play the long-term, know that it's non-linear, and then that brings it to the next important point. Nurture relationships. It's an important one. Don't obsess over people and hit them up for no reason. But once in a while, hey, how you doing? What are you up to? To just keep in touch with the right people that you meet here and there doesn't hurt, right? Staying on people's radar, checking in with them in a friendly way, in a non-intrusive way, not a, hey, I need a job, do you have one? And just a, hey, if you're ever around the neighborhood, would love to catch up with you. It's been a while since we did that project. Had so much fun on that. Hopefully we can touch base, at some point. Keep those relationships going, and also remember to talk to people that might be relevant for something that you might be working on, or help refer people to projects that you hear about. Now, again, I know I'm going a little over your head here because you said you're just starting out, but just bear with me. These are important principles to remember, right? So I'm trying to give you the foundation, the building blocks before you start, with your actual strategy. Because the mentality and how people approach this industry, that ruins more careers and stops them from ever even getting started more quickly than anything else, than any practical or technical mistake that you could make. Not nurturing relationships, not understanding that this is a non-linear game, that whoever you meet now might come around later and be your big break. Long-term game, people who quit, who stay tethered to their day jobs and just stay away from the industry because they feel like, when I'll make it, then I'll go in, instead of going in knowing that they're going to make something happen, which is why I tell people, produce your own content, live in this industry, make commercials, videos, wedding videos for all I care, but deal with production. Learn production, immerse yourself in it. Network with these people. Try to release a short film once in a while. Create your own content as an actor. All these things, not any single thing is going to make your career. But the more time you spend in it, the more you do in this world, the more likely 2 dots are going to get connected that are going to give you a substantial break, right? And a break is not a guarantee for longevity either. In this industry, success is definitely leased. It is not won and then maintained or held. So your career can tank just as quickly as it took off. Now, let's see what else we got. This is an important principle. I have this in another video somewhere. So I also will just say in general, explore this channel. There are a lot of more specific tips. I think you should watch every single video on this channel and it'll give you a ton of value. It's not about who you know. People think it's all about who you know. Well, I know this guy, and I know James Franco, and I know Leo DiCaprio, and yeah, because you met him at a gala one day, and you walked by his table, and you said hi. Now you know Leo. No, it's who knows you, and even more so, who is thinking about you when the potential need for somebody like yourself arises. So that's why we tie back into that video that I had yesterday about the industry navigation, the product market fit. When you fit a certain type, when you stand out as a certain type, and that type can evolve over time, right? If you look at Tom Hanks, he is not the same type as he was in the 80s, 90s, where he was more of a heartthrob party guy. Now he's the trustworthy sort of American father figure, right? I mean, he plays Walt Disney and Captain Phillips, and he's this very kind of trustworthy guy, right? He has that essence about him. Like, you wouldn't think that the guy's a liar or shady in any way. It's Tom Hanks. He's a sweetheart. So you can evolve. Your personality and your types evolve over time. But it's important to find who you are now so that you can find your place and where you fit right now. Are you more of a Disney kind of college kid person? Like, and you can get much more specific than what I'm doing here. Or do you fit more into shows like CW shows like Stranger Things? Or are you, like there are different personality types. Also the way that you carry yourself, your demeanor, your acting, your personality at its core might lend itself more to dry comedy. You might be more of a Steve Carell type who's just kind of a funny guy, and he thought he was going to be in drama, but really his personality and everything about him just made him perfect for comedy, like Jim Carrey, like, the list goes on. So you can, work on figuring out where you fit a little bit more. And when you fit more and you start exposing yourself to all these different people, then it's who is thinking about you. Memorable. You gotta be memorable. You gotta be the person. Either you're a sweetheart, you're just nice, you're really professional, you're the quiet guy. That's all okay. But they remember you for something, right? So keep that in mind, because you said that you don't have a personality. Well, everybody has a personality. Your personality might just be more subdued. It might just be more laid back. It might not be, people think personality means flamboyant and loud and all that. No, not at all. You can be totally introverted. You can be totally laid back. You can almost be kind of boring. But if there is a edge, a twist, a tweak, a darkness behind that, a mystery behind it, anything that you can work on to add appeal to that lack of personality, you can start thinking, okay, well, I could be kind of creepy. I could be that kid in a horror film who's just, the ghost. Or I could be the guy in college who ends up like, surprising everybody that he's the hero, but he's always the guy who's kind of quiet in the background and never says anything. But then he comes out and he knows like Aikido and he beats the bully's butt. Like, there's a lot you can do with what you think is a lack of personality. So I would say that it's not a lack of personality. It is your personality and you're unique. So figure out how to build on that, how to create an asset that might have a place in things, in productions, but that might be a character. Try to develop some characters around it and just think of ideas of, what could I do? Yeah, maybe I could be that guy who surprises everyone, or who, he's the guy that everybody picks on in the movie, in the teenage movie, and then gets kind of bullied by everyone, and then the girl ends up falling for him in the end because he ends up being a really cool guy. I mean, think what's Spider-Man all about? You know what I mean? It's exactly that, right? I mean, Spider-Man is the most boring person when he's not Spider-Man, right? Okay, what else we got here? All right, and then before we get into more practical tips, like I said, explore this channel though. There's a lot of value here for you. I dropped the black mark and I'm not bending over here in front of all of you, so I'm switching to green. All right, connect, dots, be analytical, and give yourself time. Okay. Now let's tie all this together before we get into the practical tips. It's a long-term game. Give yourself time. Okay? This is not a sprint. People say this about everything, but this is really not a sprint. You will have years where nothing is happening. And then something major might happen. And then nothing might happen for 6 months. And then cool stuff might happen again. Okay? That's the game here. You might even get on a roll where like for 5 years you're just rocking it and then nothing, right? It's non-linear. You know, mix and mingle, get to know people, build your value, build your network, get to know people, right? Nurture relationships. So, why do you nurture relationships? Why do you look at this as a non-linear thing, and why do you look at it as a long-term game? So that you can connect the dots, right? You need to know a little bit. You got to think like a producer. Oh, I met this person back then. Maybe I should hit them up, and maybe if I connect these two people, they'll remember me for doing that, and then maybe they'll bring me in on something. And don't do it from a selfish place. Truly be giving and helpful. But the more you can kind of give and help and connect and think about, maybe I could leverage this person and this person's knowledge with that. Or you know what, some buddy of mine told me they have a script for a short film, and this guy was saying that he was trying to do a short film, but he doesn't have a script. Maybe you connect the two, and then you end up, you know, having a role in that short film because they're like, wait a minute, aren't you an actor? You know, think that way. Think like that. And then be analytical. Every time you start going out, and I'll get into the practical tips again soon, but every time you do an audition, you submit for something, you're not going to get feedback, okay? You're not going to get people calling you, telling you, sorry, we chose not to go with you, okay? They're just not going to answer you. And that's going to start crushing your character or your personality, and it's going to put a lot of doubt into your mind. Well, don't let that affect you, because it happens to all of us, and that's part of the fortitude that you need to push and carry on in this industry. You need to have that undeniable self-belief and will. Don't think about this I'm not talented stuff. I mean, with all due respect to some of the biggest actors out there, it's not always the talent that got them there. You know what I mean? And it's not always the looks, all right? It's just stubborn determination, right? Stick to it, right? Because even if you were, which you're not, even if you were a bad actor, that is to a degree subjective, right? A bad actor, I hear people all the time, oh, that's such a bad actor. I don't know how they get that work. How that's such a bad actor, and I don't cast that person because they're bad. They're not the right fit for that person then, right? That doesn't mean they're bad. You don't have to be the same kind of actor. Some people might say Adam Sandler is not a good actor because he's always the same person. Well, he's a great actor. He's very successful too. Why? Because he knows his brand, he knows his audience, and he caters to them, and he's just good at being himself, right? So are some other people. Then you do have the Meryl Streeps of the world that, you know, win the awards. Okay. I personally don't think Meryl Streep, and I'm going to get grilled for this, is a better actor than Adam Sandler. She is a more traditional, more art-driven, craft-driven, emotional controlling actor, right? But acting is being a character. And Adam is the crap out of all the characters he plays, right? So he is a great fit for all the movies he does. And Meryl Streep is a great fit for all the movies she does. They're just different movies, right? So don't worry about being good or bad. Worry about refining your craft, getting better, of course, working on it, but really finding out where you fit and trying to create something that makes sense for you. Danny Trejo is another great example. He is just amazing at being that Latin gangster. And he owns that. And that's awesome. So don't worry about typecasting and all that crap. That's how you work, right? That's how you get work. All right? So trust yourself, connect the dots, be analytical, figure out like, hey, what I was going to say is you don't get feedback from people. All right? So it's on you to say, wait a minute. What's not working here? Why did I not get this job? Okay, to a certain degree, it's a numbers game. Fine. But what could I have done better? Oh, maybe my headshot isn't exactly reflecting the kind of character they were going for. Maybe my reel needs to be updated. Maybe my agent's not pushing me in the right direction. Maybe I'm, lacking this or that. So when you're analytical and you keep questioning why people are not taking you, you'll start being able to find out the reasons, and you can start fixing those reasons. Okay, so be analytical. And give yourself time. Okay, so now let's get into some practical tips because this video is going on way longer than I thought. You need to find your voice by getting feedback, but not letting people take control over your direction. So you need to stay uniquely you, and you're the driver of your train, but feedback is important. So email and ask everybody around you, hey, how do you see me? Where would I fit? What movies would you see me in? What shows would you see me in? What types of characters do you think I would play? And really listen to them. And if you start hearing the same thing 2 or 3 times, you're sorry, there's a fire or police or something. You'll start seeing patterns. Oh, well, 3 to 4 people told me I'm kind of like this, or I would kind of fit on this kind of a show. Cool. So that'll give you a inclination of a direction, right? So that's where to start. Then you need professional headshots, okay? You need professional headshots, not cell phone pictures. Those won't get taken seriously. Invest in the headshots. Have your parents or whoever, or take some of your money if you work, and go out and spend a couple $100 to get real headshots made. And look at that headshot photographer's portfolio, and make sure that all their photos are not just kind of all looking the same. You want to find somebody who can really, when you look at the pictures that they take, they're clear. You can see the eyes, you can see the people. They're not too made up or they're not too styled, but there's an attitude in those pictures. There's an emotion like that. They've been kind of directed almost a little bit, like a character is showing through, right? That's going to be a good headshot for you, because a photographer for you, because you don't want that like high school senior picture kind of look for your headshots. They're all generic. So it's not about posing. It's about extracting that character that you now have a little bit more of an idea for, and putting that into a picture that now you can show people and say, hey, look, this is who I am. Maybe we should talk for an audition. All right? Get headshots. Have your parents sign you up for online casting services, or maybe you are 18 already, but get on Backstage.com, get on ActorsAccess.com, get on CastingFrontier.com, get on LA and New York Casting, all right? These are places where people post non-union, union, all kinds of jobs, right? So you can start actually submitting with your headshots. Now, I will say, you're not likely to get work if you don't have any kind of video in your profile. So it's important, as quickly as possible, to start building a demo reel, which is a collection of your produced work. If you do not have a demo reel, I strongly suggest putting some self-tape scenes together, and maybe even a little video that just says, you introduce yourself and say, hey, I am a new actor. Here are the types of characters I could do. I would love an opportunity to audition. I do not have a reel. I think always honesty is the key to connecting with people. And when you connect with people, you do something that other people don't. So it's not about fake it till you make it. It's about truly understanding where you're at, believing in your talent, showing confidence, showing skill. I put a couple of character reels together here. Hopefully you'll take a look. I think this would really fit your project. I'd be excited to be able to submit a self-tape audition for you, right? You can start getting some work that way, especially on student films and smaller projects right away, okay? So get on those online platforms and find a way to upload decent quality, good video footage of yourself, acting as soon as you can, right? But definitely get those headshots. Get involved with local acting groups, right? Locally, actual people, and get involved with acting groups on Facebook and start asking questions, right? I'm going to post a link below to our Dream Reach Actor Society. You're welcome to join that. I'm also going to post a link to our branding mindset and self-taping course. It's a very cost-effective, affordable program that I think would be great for you. If you want to take a look, you can click the link in the comments and just sign up for that. And get involved with other actors and start talking to people, start meeting people, and ask, where can I submit? Are there any local theater things going on? Fall in love with this game, with this craft, with the mixing, the mingling, remembering that it's a long-term game and it's a non-linear game, okay? And just start hanging out sets, hanging out on sets, hanging out with other actors, producers, filmmakers, as much as you can, wherever you can, and get into filmmaking. Not videography and stuff. Understand, fall in love with the process of movies, shows, videos. Learn how to make them if you can. You're young, learn how to edit, learn how to shoot some stuff if you want, but learn how, go on sets to observe. How are they run? Talk to people there, on breaks, not while they're working. And try to maybe see if, hey, if I ever do a short film, would you come film it for me? Like, would you be my cinematographer? Great, cool. Hey, who wrote this? Oh, that guy over there, or that girl over there. Okay, go over there. Hey, I heard you're the writer for this. It's a really cool script. Do you ever do work for hire? Would you mind if I had an idea? Would you be able to help me maybe write something? Get into it now. You're going to start producing stuff when you're, down the line anyways. And that's what I tell actors all the time. Get into this stuff now. You need to learn how to ditch your 9-to-5 job, make money in this industry, whether you're producing freaking, corporate videos. You're better off than than sitting at a desk working a 9-to-5 or driving Uber. You got to make money, learn production, get into this, fall in love with storytelling, immerse yourself with actors, hang around them, hang around everybody you can in your local market. If it's LA, volunteer in your early stages, get on sets and meet people. But here's the trick. Don't stay the volunteer freebie guy for very long, right? Always push yourself to the next level and have enough self-respect to start charging when you feel like your skill levels are at an adequate level. Don't fall into this perpetual student film thing where you're working for no money for 5 years. 2 or 3 student films is enough to take you to the next level, to try and package yourself differently, and just keep that self-respect, right? Don't take stuff because you just need it after a certain time, because you're going to get stuck in a tier where everybody's going to know you. Again, it's who is thinking about you and under what context. So if everybody knows you as the PA who came and volunteered and works for cheap to go pick up coffees, you're going to get stuck in that loop and always get called in for that. You don't want that. You want to go for your sake to learn, see what the key players are doing, and start behaving like them, and start mixing with them, and start talking to them, and start getting your own stuff going, and start talking like you're, gonna be something, right? And believe in yourself, all right? I hope that helps. Subscribe if you liked it. It's a long video. Micah, good luck to you. I'll post those links for the Facebook group, but there's a ton of Facebook groups. There's free groups and everything. Mine's free too. It's just, I got to let you in. But there's a ton of Facebook groups out there. But get involved with real people, theater companies. And here's the other thing. Do not ever, ever pay an agent or a manager, okay? Don't pay an agent or a manager. They work on commission. If they pick you up, they should believe in you. The only context where that's sometimes okay is if somebody refers you to a headshot photographer, and if it's like a really small town you live in and they're the only people there, maybe they charge you a little bit to put them on your website. That could sometimes benefit some local people because the local productions actually go there to look. But if you're anywhere near a reasonable market, you know, Louisiana, like Baton Rouge, Austin, Texas, Columbus, any city really, don't do the whole paying an agent thing, right? That's it, man. Post in the comments if you guys have questions. Mike, I wish you all the best. If you really love it, you'll find a way, all right? This is the kind of industry where you got to be a little bit crazy to do it. We're all a little nuts. So I'll see you next time. All right, subscribe if you like it. Ask me questions. I'll try and answer as many as I can.